So a lot of people watched on TV, which is great. A lot of people were there. Can we talk about the crowd?
Packed.
Yeah. Great. Very annoying. Like, I really good for the sport. Really bad for Alex. Yeah.
The only driver who's upset that IndyCar is getting more popular.
No, that is not remotely true. I just think and we've talked about this before, James. And there are certain fans that are wonderful and amazing. And that's more than certain. Most fans. And then there are certain fans that I don't think they come to every race or whatever, but they spend the extra money and they get a Paddock pass, and with that comes a huge amount of access, which IndyCar prides itself on, and we try and differentiate ourselves from other series by providing that access. But that access is not an all access at all times pass to anything that they want in the exact moment that they want it. Like we had several people, and this just wasn't me that had to deal with it. Like there was 3 people that Andretti had to forcibly remove from Roma's truck. They walked past the things, past the stanchions,
past the
cars, all the way to the back of the truck, and were chasing him into his truck to get an autograph.
Okay, I was looking for a bathroom.
And it's like, guys, I mean, we will sign if we have time. We won't if we don't. But ultimately, you cannot then just think that you're obligated and entitled to then go into a pretty much private property space. So that does get frustrating. But that's few and far between, ultimately.
For sure. Like you said, it was majority, overwhelmingly positive experiences with the fans in IndyCar. But yeah, every once in a while, and like let's call a spade a spade. Sometimes there's some people that maybe have imbibed a little bit, enjoying themselves in the Florida heat, and might not have behaved in a way that they would normally behave, if that makes sense. But there's one thing.
See, every like a couple people came up to me like, "Oh, you getting hammered?" I was like, "It's 90 degrees. I've had like 9 bottles of water. I couldn't have a beer right now if I wanted to have."
That is 9 more bottles of water than I had in the race.
Yeah, fair enough.
The one thing that I always hated, more than anything, there was times when things would annoy you more than other times or whatever, if you were in a rush or in a bad mood or whatever, but you kind of deal with it. The one thing that no matter what I really did not tolerate was like people grabbing at you, like coming up from behind you, like grabbing your arm to like turn you around for a photo or something. It was my single biggest pet peeve, as a driver walking through a paddock, whatever. So this kind of played into this one situation that involved a friend of ours. That was kind of funny. So Buzzkill Brian, big fan of the show, and we're a big fan of his, works with Joseph Newgarden. And Joseph was walking out to the track.
But
he was walking out to the track, and he was walking side by side with another driver. I forget who it was. Maybe it was Scott. Maybe it was Will. But they were kind of walking up that pathway in between the grandstands where the cars get, pulled by the tuggers to come out to pit lane. And this fan ran up between the two of them, grabbed both of their arms to like half spin them around so she could jump in for a photo. Now they were all walking, and Brian was on the camera walking behind them. And so this woman grabbed them and then just sort of stopped. So Brian had to like sidestep to the left to avoid just walking into the 3 of them. But it was right as a car was coming by, and he stepped in front of the car, and it like hit his foot and knocked him over, and he landed on the side pod of the car as he was getting pulled into pit lane.
No.
Yeah. So it was like not awesome situation, all prompted by a fan being a little handsy.
That is like, by the way, one of my like worst fears when you're out on the grid is what if I just fell and like broke a nose wing or like broke something on a car like before a race.
It's always my biggest fear at the 500 because there's so many people there. And like, again, the race starts early enough that most people shouldn't be drunk yet, but all it takes is just one guy to push someone or take a step back while trying to take a photo, and a guy's walking behind him and it knocks him over and he steps on a wing. Like that is always the fact that we don't put the little stanchions around the cars on the grid like you do on a Formula One grid. The fact that we don't do that at Indy is baffling to me.
Well, this actually weirdly plays into something I saw. The football player Buda Baker, am I saying that right? Yeah. Arizona football. He lives in Arizona. He sent out 2 tweets yesterday telling people to stop trying to come to his house because he had a fan like jump over his gate and scare the crap out of his sister. And he was basically saying, like, had that been me, I'd have pulled a gun on you. And it's like, yeah, you really got to know the limits. Like,
yeah, that's pretty aggressive.
That's way more. That's way more.
That's
right? But it's just an example.
Texas, the concealed carry laws are pretty loose, so I might. It's a good call.
You could have a holster on your fire suit.
Some guys like, can you stitch in a pocket for my?
Hey, can I get a?
Like,
never mind.
Can you stitch
never
in
mind.
a holster? Yeah, that'd be interesting. It would turn some heads.
It sure would. I mean, you should just get an old-fashioned like belt with like 2 revolvers just to put around your suit when you're walking up to the grid.
I like it. Yeah.
I mean, they give you guns if you win, right?
Exactly.
Just win.
It's encouraged.
Sure
Texas Motor Speedway.
Yeah.